Hello, sports fan, and welcome to the Packs for Breakfast All-Star Team catchers. These are the catchers. These are catchers. There's 3 catchers, and we're only doing 2 years. We're doing 1989 Donruss and 2008 Upper Deck. Those are the ones we're doing. So you're wondering, well, why is there 3 catchers up there? Well, I don't know. It's like we pulled Ernie Witt early. He was the first solid catcher, and that's what we always call him, solid catches. Whenever we get a catcher like him, just a guy that, nose to the grindstone, hard worker, didn't do anything spectacular, wasn't one of your all-time greats, but he wasn't bad. He had a good long career, so he was a solid catcher. So he was the first one. He stayed for a very long time as our catcher. We weren't really coming across any names. And we open tons of these packs every single Sunday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Mountain Time. And we do it live. And he stayed up there forever. He really did. Till like one of the last couple of packs, boom, out pops Carlton Fisk. So we had to take Carlton Fisk, but we felt bad that Ernie Witt kind of never got to, keep his place. So he's up there. He'll probably end up as the DH for that 89 team. Now Mauer, these cards, I like the look of these Upper Deck cards. I really do. But the StarQuest cards, it's tough to read the names because they're in little tiny itty bitty print right there. That's where you can see the name. And over here is like catcher and Twins, I think. But it's very tiny. That's the only thing I don't like. I mean, you can obviously tell he's a Twins player by that. But, Joe Mauer is looking towards the sky after hitting, I'm guessing, just a towering fly ball, maybe. Because he doesn't look like he's getting ready to move really fast. So these are going to be the catchers for our 89 Donruss and our 2008 Upper Deck. So let's start with Ernie Witt. Ernie Witt might surprise. He spent 15 years in the MLB from 1976 to 1991. This is a guy I don't remember that well. He didn't play that long while I was watching baseball. He had a .249 career batting average. He had 134 home runs, 534 RBIs. He played most of his seasons with the Blue Jays, played 12 years with them, played a season with the Red Sox, played a season with the Braves, and played one more season with the Orioles at the end of his career. His best home run seasons were in 85 and 87, where he hit 19 in each of those years. So he never hit 20 home runs in a season. And he only threw out 33% of his runners. But he is in the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame. He is an American. I think he was born in Detroit, Michigan, but he's in the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame because I think he went to the Blue Jays in 77, and I think that was the Blue Jays' first year. And I think he was the last original player to remain with the team. He remained with them for 12 years, and I think he was their last original player to finally leave that original, expansion. I think they were an expansion team. I don't think they went from another city. So Ernie Witt made the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame. Good for him. But he definitely was not a slouch. He wasn't a bad hitter. .249 in this day and age, that's not bad. That's not a terrible. It depends, I guess, what kind of a situational hitter he would have been, because of course we do a lot of stuff with metrics and small ball and whatever, what's his face, Billy Beane did with the Athletics. But we'll go to the guy who's going to start as catcher though. That's going to be Carlton Fisk. Carlton Fisk had 376 career home runs, .269 career batting average. He had 2,356 hits. He played 24 seasons in the MLB at catcher. He had 13 years with the White Sox, 11 years with the Red Sox. So he played for the Sox both times. He was an 11-time All-Star, did win a Golden Glove. He was voted into the Hall of Fame in 2000 on his second ballot. And I've always thought of Carlton Fisk as one of the greatest all-time catchers to ever play. I thought this is, he has his, I think he has his big dramatic moment for Boston when he hit a very dramatic home run for them where he's, willing this thing to stay inside the foul pole. I think it was over the Green Monster. Because I remember he was right-handed, so he was like trying to make sure it didn't go, he was trying to keep it from going foul with will. And it was a very dramatic home run for him. And of course, the Red Sox. Carlton Fisk being one of the all-time greats. You know what his percentage was for throwing out base runners? 33%, almost 34. It was 33.8. And I'm going, wow, yeah, Ernie Witt is almost on caliber with Carlton Fisk behind the plate. But Carlton Fisk was always one of my favorites. He just didn't look like a guy that should last that long in baseball, but he did. Just a kind of a fire hydrant looking guy. I don't know. He was stocky, but he was one of the best. Carlton Fisk, one of my favorite catchers of all time. I was glad that we pulled one of his cards because I've never gotten to talk about Carlton Fisk. So it's good that it's like we pull a card like that just so that I can bring up his stats, what he did. It is fun to put him up there. There you go. There's some Carlton Fisk. Now we're going to go to 2008 Upper Deck. We're going to go to Joe Mauer. Joe Mauer arguably is one of the best catchers of recent times. He had a .306 career batting average, 143 career home runs, nowhere near what Fisk did, and only slightly better than Ernie Witt. He did have 2,123 home runs. He was a 3-time Gold Glover, but he won the AL MVP in 2009. That 2009 season, he had 28 home runs, 96 RBIs. He batted .365. He had a .365 year. His WAR that year was 7.8. I remember Joe Mauer just being a very steady hand. He played all of his seasons with the Minnesota Twins. And thinking to myself, once again, one of the best catchers. He's also a Hall of Famer. And it's like, and you just think to yourself, it's like, he had to throw out more. I mean, just more. He had to be at least 40, 42%. No, 33%. 30. Every one of these guys is 33% throwing out base runners. You can go back to the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s, and 33% will get you into the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame, and it will get you into the Baseball Hall of Fame. So, hey, if you can throw out 33, just like batting, if you can bat .330, you're probably a Hall of Famer. If you can throw out 33% of your runners, you're probably a Hall of Famer. And that's All-Star for now.